Hey, it's Jason. It's been 1 month since I got my hands on the Pixel 9 Pro, Google's latest and best effort to get the Pixel out onto the mainstream radar, and it's been a really interesting phone up to this point. Compared to the Pixels of the past, I do feel as though the 9 Pro is a considerable step up in virtually every facet. There's so much Google finally got right when it comes to what a flagship phone needs in order to be competitive in today's market, and in an era in which I feel most of the other players have been coasting in my opinion, it is nice to have at least one company swinging for the fences. With that said, here are the 3 main things that have stood out to me after using the Pixel 9 Pro 1 month later. But before we jump into it, a real quick plug for the JSL newsletter. I send subscribers out a full res wallpaper every week, as well as links to really good tech deals and articles written by yours truly. It's totally free. Link to subscribe is in the description below. So ever since the Pixel 6, where Google was very intentional about rebranding their phones into bona fide flagships, I've always felt they did okay with their designs, but there was always something left to be desired. Generally speaking, it would consistently feel like the form factor would be one generation behind the leaders of the industry, and it would struggle to stand out in a crowd as something new and exciting. Well, 1 month later, I'm happy to finally say, Google nailed it with the design. This has been without question the most robust, well put together Pixel phone I've experienced, and definitely the best looking in my opinion. This phone feels so much more substantial compared to previous models, mainly because it is thicker and has a significantly more pronounced metal frame, and even though these components are understandably cosmetic, they do make an impact on how much you enjoy interacting with the phone. And I know there's a lot of criticism out there around the Pixel 9 Pro looking eerily familiar with the current Pro iPhone lineup, and I'm not gonna lie, there are a lot of striking similarities here, but 1 month later, I don't think that's a bad thing at all. This blueprint of having a more modern industrial design is something that is proven to be enjoyed by many, and rather than dogging on Google for taking inspiration from the iPhone design, I think the focus should be more on giving them props for killing it with the execution. The aluminum frame has a very slight curve that blends in perfectly with the glass on both the front and back, and even though I would have preferred a matte finish, the polished surface does contrast nicely against the frosted finish on the back panel, which includes the metal on the camera housing, which just makes for an all-around clean and classy look. The buttons are clicky, the updated camera design is still emblematic of the Pixel name, and the now symmetrical bezel on the display brings the entire phone together to be worthy of a flagship designation. Now, I understand some people may argue that the Pixel 9 Pro design could still be considered behind, as it's not using more premium build materials like titanium or stainless steel, and there's still some catch up that needs to be done in order to compete with the top dogs like Apple and Samsung. And even though there's some validity to that argument, I wouldn't go so far as to say that the Pixel 9 Pro is behind. 1 month later, I've not in any way felt as though this was a subpar phone from a design perspective, and I think it could totally hold its weight against the iPhone 16 Pro or the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Now we'll see if this phone starts to deteriorate over time, which some Pixels have, let's just be honest, but glad to say 1 month in, the Pixel 9 Pro's design is still a big plus in my opinion. Hey, editor Jason here. So I got a ton of behind the scene questions about how I put these videos together, and something that might surprise you is that my main computer for editing is a MacBook that I bought back in 2021. Now, despite this being a relatively old laptop for the work that I do, it still runs really smooth, mainly because of today's video sponsor, Clean My Mac. Clean My Mac is the ultimate Mac tool that helps ensure your computer is running as optimally as possible, and what I love about the software is how simple and easy it is to use. It has an intuitive interface that is extremely user-friendly, and my go-to for my Mac is the Smart Scan feature. This scans my entire computer for things like redundant files or duplicates that take up space on your hard drive, any potential threats or vulnerabilities, any maintenance actions that I should take like clearing out my cache, and you're able to clear everything up right from the app itself. You can also add access to Clean My Mac to your menu bar for a quick summary of how your Mac is performing and to quickly clear up some RAM or space on your hard drive when you need it, which is super convenient when you're in the middle of a heavy video edit. My most recent scan identified 10.2 gigabytes of junk files that I quickly cleaned off my computer without me having to dig around my hard drive to find them, which honestly would have taken me forever to do. This is a critical tool for my aging Mac, as it can quickly get clogged up with a ton of junk, and it helps me get the longest surface life possible out of my main editing computer. Follow my link in the description to try Clean My Mac for 7 days free, and thank you to Clean My Mac for sponsoring this video. So the one feature on essentially all Pixels up to this point that arguably did better than its competitors and frankly kept the lineup alive in spite of other limitations is its camera quality. Google has kind of had the secret sauce in the realm of computational photography, and ahead of virtually everyone else figured out a recipe to give really pleasing looking images that commanded respect. And even though most of the competition has caught up to this point, the camera performance on the Pixel 9 Pro still continues to be a force to reckon with. The stills that you're able to get out of all 4 cameras on this thing are sharp and vibrant and still have that moody vibe that Pixels are known for. 1 month later, some special recognition has to be given to the updated 42 megapixel selfie camera. It's the best performing selfie camera I've tested up to this point. You get a much wider field of view without any weird distortions, and the selfies come out tack sharp, especially compared to the competition. Now this might sound like a nitpick, but if I'm being honest, the images coming out of the Pixel 9 cameras, they're really good, don't get me wrong, but I feel as though it's not much improved from the great performance of the last 3 to 4 Pixel phones of the past. And I think Google kind of recognizing that they may have reached a peak in terms of general camera performance on their phones, they've instead turned their focus onto AI features to expand the camera experience to a different dimension. Now 1 month later, I'm gonna be honest, I'm kind of mixed about the whole camera AI thing. They're pretty cool features, but I don't really use them. For example, the new Add Me feature, it's actually pretty good at doing its intended purpose, but I just don't have a need for it, and I kind of forget that this capability is on this phone. The Best Take feature, on the other hand, I feel as though is clutch, especially if you take a lot of group photos, and the Reimagine feature on the Magic Editor, I really like playing with it, but during my 1 month of use, I haven't actually shared a picture that has been artificially modified. That aside, the last AI camera feature that I've been really torn on is the updated Video Boost feature, where you can take your standard 4K video that you've shot on the Pixel 9 Pro and then send it to the cloud to have Google's machine learning magic enhance the video up to apparently an 8K resolution. And look, the brass tacks on this feature is yes, it does work and it does make a noticeable improvement to your videos, especially those taken in low light conditions. But it seriously takes more than an hour to get your video processed and sent back to you, and that's for a clip that's like 30 seconds. So it's not something that you can easily take advantage of, especially if you're needing to share the video quickly, and I'm not joking when I say it could take days for a longer video to come back. But overall, 1 month later, the general camera performance on the Pixel 9 Pro is strong, but the AI features are kind of hit or miss. And real quick, if you're finding this video helpful, can you do me a quick favor and press the like button, and definitely consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. So I just went over some of the more specific camera related features on the Pixel 9 Pro, but this phone is full of so much more AI fun, and again, 1 month later, it's been a mixed bag when it comes to the user experience. Starting with Gemini, I like how it has formally taken the place of the Google Assistant. It's, to me, the best basic AI voice assistant in the game. It makes Siri on the iPhone look kind of silly, I'm not gonna lie. Now, the one thing that I've been doing a ton over the past month has been using Gemini to summarize YouTube videos. It's super convenient. I tend to watch a lot of longer format educational videos on YouTube, and this feature is great at getting the gist on what the video is about before I commit to watching them. And the AI feature that I've been kind of blown away by the most has been Gemini Live. It's part of Gemini Advanced, which is a paid subscription, but you do get a free 1-year trial with any Pixel 9 purchase. It's a way more sophisticated AI chatbot that is actually really easy to talk with, and as terrifying as it is, I've kind of gotten close with Gemini because of it. It does an exemplary job on picking up on conversational nuances that makes the interactions feel a lot more organic, and even though it does make mistakes from time to time, it's an incredibly powerful and useful feature in my opinion. Now you also get features like the Pixel screenshots. I gotta be honest, I haven't used this much at all over the past month, but I do know there are some hardcore people out there that screenshot everything, so I think there's value to it. I'm just not needing it or using it. Then there's Pixel Studio, Google's AI image generator, and I'm still impressed at how fast it works. It's one of the fastest generators I've used, and it's a shout out to the Tensor G4 chip. Do I use the Pixel Studio regularly? No, not really, mainly because I don't really have a use case for it. It is fun to play with and show your friends, but there's not a lot of day-to-day practicality to a tool like this unless you're in some kind of specialized field of work. So I'd be lying if I said I wasn't enjoying my time with the Pixel 9 Pro. It's been the most fun phone I've tested this year by a considerable margin, but there is one thing about this device that kind of stings, and that's the price. The regular Pixel 9 Pro starts off at $999 and the Pixel 9 Pro XL at $1,099, prices that are not foreign as they mirror the pricing of the top flagships out there, but a sad departure from the slightly lower pricing the Pixels were kind of known for. And 1 month later, I'll say this, I think for the here and now, these phones are worth the heavier price tags as, again, I've been really enjoying the Pixel 9 Pro up to this point, but the PTSD with Pixels is always wondering if the good performance is gonna last. Older Pixels have a history of falling apart over time with software glitches, battery performance, etc. Again, not to suggest I have any issues so far, but I'd be foolish to think that this is a perfect phone this early in the game, given the history the Pixels have had. The good thing is, Google isn't exactly shy about doing sales on their phones pretty early in the year, so I think the pricing could get quite competitive during the holiday season, and I'm gonna keep a tight finger on the pulse in terms of how this phone evolves over time, so make sure that you're subscribed to the channel for regular updates. And let me know what you guys think about the Pixel 9 Pro now that it's been out for a month. Do you think it's a home run like me? Or are you still not sold on Google hardware? Curious to get your thoughts, let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments down below. And in case you guys missed my review on the Google Pixel 9 Pro Fold, definitely check it out, you're not going to want to miss it.